Welcome back to Go Again Gaming and welcome back to the league that means nothing to. I am your host Ian and we have finally made it to the quarterfinals. After 5 grueling rounds of Swiss, that meant nothing. They're now cast aside. The only thing that means anything is your next game. We are in the top 8, ladies and gentlemen. We have Pascal Whaler versus Kenneth Shivers today. We have Betsy. And now that's a hero that no one would have expected to see here in the top 8, taking on the current Bidif Enigma, at least until Dash.io's Armory deck comes out at the weekend. So let's see who is going to go on to the next round. Traditionally, a matchup very favoured for Enigma, but hey, Betsy's in the top 8. All bets are off. Who knows what's going to happen? With that, I think I'm going to throw over to the gameplay and we'll see what happens and who is running some of those new fancy Rosetta cards. And here we have it. We have Kenneth Shivers, obviously on the alt-art Japanese Enigma because he is an illusionist gamer. Oh, hey Kenneth, is that a non-extended art traverse? Do you not get thrown out of Illusionist Club for not having that? Especially when you have a graded tunic. And I see you're running the Calming Touch. Calming Touch, amazing new card from Rosetta. Unbelievable. Possibly the best arm slot in Illusionist. Not just in Enigma, but just in Illusionist in general. AB1, make Spectral Shield on demand. Brilliant stuff. And we see Pascal with Cold Foil, Graded, and Marvel Betsy. And we're just going to lead off with a big Chungus, an Enigma Chimera, pitching a Dissolve Reality, and Pascal immediately going to pop that without even a moment's hesitation. He's like, no, get that off the board. Oof, and being max punished by a drop in the ocean. So Pascal is going to take 3 here, and that drop in the ocean is going to transcend. So now we have a activation of Enigma to get a Spectral Shield and... Oh, maybe not. In fact, maybe that disable was for 7. So no Transcend, still pop. Well, Transcend, no pop. And Kenneth just going to move to Arsenal, pass over, and let's see what Pascal has to throw back at his Enigma opponent, as the shenanigans has already begun. This is the really annoying thing about that turn 1 Transcend. It means that no matter what happens at any point in the game, that Traverse the Universe is live to tutor a chi, such as when Kenneth draws, I don't know, Manifestations of Miragai. That card. Blech. A card, there's very few cards I have played against or with that have made the game revolve more around them than that Miragai. But hey, Flesh and Blood isn't about riding a big dragon to victory, right? Right? Brian, James, anyone? Bueller? Anyway, we have a activation of Tectonic Plating with a lovely custom Seismic Surge there for Pascal. Floating 2 and throwing Command and Conquer. Guardian Staple, Command and Conquer. You know those Guardian specs? E-Strike, Command and Conquer, Pummel, all those Guardian specialization cards. And now Kenneth thinking about how to line up his blocks here. Looks like he may or may not want to protect that arsenal. Obviously, there's the downside of it could be an instant, at which point it doesn't really matter. So we're lining up a Levels of Enlightenment. And we're going to play out a Waxing Spectre. So this has Ward 3, getting that Mirror Guide to the bottom of the deck. Obviously, pitching a blue, it comes in with a +1 counter, but really, this Waxing Spectre is playing Get Down, Mr. President, in front of this Command and Conquer. And Pascal has the pummel. Poof. Brutality. One of the more powerful plays you can see out of any Guardian deck. And going to Van Brace of Determination as well. So the next prevention effect prevents one less. So that spectral shield is just going to vanish into thin air. Could not ask for a better turn one setup if you are a Guardian player. So that shield eats, you know, and the 2 card block 6 across this 10. 2 cards left, one in hand, one in arsenal, and both are going in the bin. So the shield is going to eat it from the Van Brisa determination. 4 damage is going to be dealt overall. We're going to lose an Astral Etchings, which is an incredibly powerful card. And I'm surprised Kenneth didn't just shuffle his deck, as is his right. As is his right to just play that if he so chooses. This is a great start for a Betsy. This is the dream start for a Guardian into an Illusionist because your on hits, your crush effects, whatever it is, what have you, don't matter much in the face of a deck that can just say, no blocks, prevent 6, nice try, go again. Anyway, Kenneth, just going to take up his tunic, pass the turn, and let's see what Pascal has to offer here. So we're going to pitch another card to create a new Seismic Surge, I imagine. Pitching a blue. We have 1 Surge floating and 2 resources. Oh, yeah. Lol. This is a seismic. Excuse me while I go and grab my €250 seismic token. Oh, I don't have a spare seismic surge. I guess I'll just use this Arcanite shard. And now we're gonna bet big. So this costs 3 thanks to the seismic surge. And when it attacks, you may wager a gold, might, and vigor token with them. And with that, if we have the resources spare, which we do, I believe, we can activate Betsy to give it a +1 and overpower. Not quite dominate, but reasonably effective. Obviously, we're wagering, because if you're Betsy and you ain't wagering, if you're not gambling, what are you doing? Why are you playing Betsy? Go play a real Guardian. No offense, Pascal. Or, we're not activating Betsy. We're just going to float 2. Put the fear of God in your opponent. There's a reason the Metal Fab Tokens guys have made a token that is 2 resources. Is it a pummel? Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, it in fact is the pummel. To hell with it. Sure. Just have it. Gotta just have it sometimes. Kenneth looking decidedly unhappy with the state of his hand right now. After just blocking 3, going to unmovable, go up to 10, still going to take 2, lose that last card in hand, and Betsy is going to win her first bet. And it's a Rage Spectre going to the bin. So that is the best possible outcome for our Betsy player here. We wager, we win our wager, we get all of the tokens, and that is going to make it easier to wager from now on because it will allow our good time chapeau to crack gold in order to wager. So yeah, we are losing that. Our mirror guy is again finding its way suddenly to the bottom of our deck. Pascal, I gotta ask, how much scratch do you have? I don't have. That's like Lucille Booth. How much? can a can milk be $50, Michael? Like, I don't have a might token. Sorry, I'll use this Arcanite shard. But you do have a potato gold for some reason. Sure, whatever, man. This is ridiculous. Shard pops, making a +1, and a seismic surge pops, making a new seismic surge. Pretty good. Good start using the vigor token from Betsy's big bet, her bet big, big bet. Pitching a buckling blow for Rouse the Ancients, revealing a disable and a command and conquer. So we could be looking at just more damage, just some more damage. Why not? Yeah, put that shard back in the binder, man. So we have 8 go again from the might and Rouse the Ancient's text of giving itself +7 and go again if you reveal 13 power worth of cards. Now, obviously this looks great for a Guardian. You're like, how could he possibly lose from this position? Trust me. Yeah, we're going to unmovable that 8. 2 card 8, pretty good value. And I think if you're Kenneth here, knowing that there's no Arsenal, it's a 2 card 7 because it's not from Arsenal. If there's no Arsenal, yeah, you just send in an Othos with a +2 power, nice big bonk. Kenneth going to prevent that some of that damage with a Fate Foreseen. Opt a card to the bottom, keeps a card to hand. That'll go to the arsenal. As I was saying, how could Kenneth possibly win from here, right? Pascal has all the tempo in the world. Doesn't matter. An illusionist is dead when you kill them. They can stabilize on one. They can stabilize at any point in the game. I've seen it happen, and trust me, when you get them to 1 and you cannot find that last point of damage to save your life, it is depressing. Right, let's see what we have here. We have a Seismic Surge pop. We have a Choke Slam, throwing out a Zealous Belting. This is quintessential Guardian into Illusionist gameplay. This is what you have to do. You have to go again. If you try and attack 1 time a turn, 1-for-1 with your Illusionist opponent, they're just going to build a board state and ignore you. And you're going to lose, and you're going to lose, and you're going to lose. All these go again attacks are absolutely critical to the game plan here. And now we have from a Zealous Belting. Oh, what are we pitching? Oh, we're going to crack a gold instead. Are we? No. We're going to send this Command and Conquer, and we're going to wager the Command and Conquer. And we're going to use the 2 floating to activate Betsy's ability. So it gets +1 and overpower. And now there's only 1 card in hand. Obviously, if this doesn't hit, we're going to lose the wager. But 7, it's pretty good. It's a big, big chunk. Command and Conquer for anything more than 6 is always a good time, depending on which side of the table you're on. So let's see what Kenneth does here. No defense reactions. But that says nothing about instants. So anything ranging from a Waxing Spectre to a Restless Coalescence could potentially buy him out of this if he has an instant in Arsenal. All of a sudden, that CNC is a lot less appealing. Really, your only way through this is to generate as much value from each action as possible as the Guardian. And that's part of why the Illusionist matchup is so tough. They cannot profitably generate value from every single piece of interaction, every piece of disruption, and every single resource because you're being dragged in so many different ways. Oh, and we have a nice big cheats here blocking with 2 actions because it has overpower, but hey, doesn't really matter when your arsenal is an instant. But we're burning yet another instant. So we should be taking 4 here, but Betsy still gets to win. Pascal, I will post you a mice token. Please, for the love of God. And Kenneth just going to Arsenal pass. Waiting for Betsy to stop the onslaught. So using the Vigor token to re-up that Seismic Surge. And now let's see where that Might token lands. What's it going to go on? So we're going to pitch a Thunderquake for Zealous Belting. 6 go again. Or was that Arknight Shard of Vigor this time? No, it was. In fact, still a Might token. It's still 6 go again. Now we just have a 4 block and a Homage to Ancestors. Or is it a 4 Oh, it's a blue Sink Below. Those Illusionist players playing cards that no one should ever play in their right mind and getting value off them sickens me, the whole lot of it. But we're going to Sink Below. We've got a Chi in hand. We have 3 cards in hand and 4 damage coming through here. Now let's see what the follow up here is, and it is another bet. Oh, even better! It's Drink 'em Under the Table. This new card from Rosetta. When it attacks, you may wager, and on hit, discard a card. Yeah, the winner draws a card, and the loser discards a card. This is a big time wager. So we've a 9 overpower wager coming at Kenneth here. And Betsy will get to turn this potentially into card advantage, as well as some disruption with the discard being threatened here. Kenneth really thinking about how to line up his blocks. We know one of those cards in hand does not. It simply cannot. So let's see where Kenneth decides to go with this. We're just going to block with an Enigma Chimera. And our Traverse the Universe, getting our Chi. Gonna give a quick. I imagine that Chi was the thing that was sunk with that Sink Below. Very sneaky. Great way to keep them guessing. The old brainstorm trick in Magic. Quick cut of the deck to make sure that everyone is playing fair. Just because we're playing for nothing doesn't mean we're going to cheat. And with any luck, Kenneth has a red Sink Below this time, covering up the full damage, forcing Betsy to discard that last card if she indeed has one in hand. And we're going to use that last resource into Vambrace's Determination. No hit's going to take place, so Kenneth is going to draw a card. And now we see a problem. This is not where you want to be as a Guardian. Losing that wager, especially that wager, giving your opponent another card. That's not where you want to be. So let's see what we decide to do here as Kenneth. And he is going to Rising Sun, Setting Moon, drawing a card, putting a card to the bottom, and Transcending. Wonder what we're digging for here, if indeed we are digging for anything. And this is why these matchups can turn on a dime. All this good tempo from Pascal, generating value every turn, all of a sudden getting turned against him, with Kenneth finding a way to cover up that 9 and draw a card. So we're going to start by pitching a chi into Enigma balls. What? And make a Spectral Shield 2 go again. It comes in with a counter, so it has go again as per Cosmo Ledger of Ancestry. And the first Spectral Shield each turn it costs one less to attack with. Followed up by Levels of Enlightenment, pitching an Inner Chi. Modes are going to be draw card, go again, no doubt. Yeah, the two best modes on the card. So we have a 3 go again, cutting Pascal to 35, and 2 cards in Kenneth's hand. What is he planning to do now? He's looking at this card. Does he want it? Does he want it to be a different one? We're just going to play a Rage Spectre, a Ward 1 on Pascal's turn, but an Anothos on Kenneth's turn. 1 cost Anothos. That seems fine and balanced and fair and good. And now we have just a Command and Conquer. Pitching 2 reds, not ideal. Obviously, 1 card in hand. Kenneth with 2 ward on board. This is very easily covered up now. Blocking with 2 ripple aways. And we're just going to start with the freebie Spectral Shield to go again. Hey, sometimes the valid strategy is to protect the queen. Keep that 2 go again, hitting every turn. Take less damage. You're fine. That was my strategy to win at my pre-release for Mistveil was make a 4 power Spectral Shield, attack with it, block 12. Eventually, you just win the game. And now we're going to make a Restless Coalescence with Ward 2 and a single +1 counter, pitching a Restless Coalescence. So this will come in for 3 go again. Not the biggest Restless Coalescence I've ever seen, but hey, it's not nothing. And then finish the turn with a Rage Spectre for 6. Good old Hammer for 6. Hey Pascal, looks like Kenneth can do that too. And what did I tell you? Those life totals that were so far apart were brought right back to it. 22 plays 24. Kenneth was 18 points of life behind and has now closed that gap significantly. Now we're going to see a Zealous Belting do its intended job, which is to threaten the ward on board. So 5 go again. We're looking at a potential 5 maximum ward on board, but that has to say it has to get through Kenneth's hand first, which is no easy feat, which is why Enigma plays so many 3 blocks. So let's see how Kenneth decides to play this one. We're going to block with an Enigma Chimera. Activate our Restless Coalescence, making a Spectral Shield by removing a +1 counter. And let the Enigma Chimera and 2 shields cover that. And we have 9 power because we're pummeling this Zealous Belting. This is just something that no one ever expects. And I have seen it happen on more than one occasion where someone's like, yeah, I'll take 5. No, you'll take 9 now. Discard a card, please. Kenneth looking like he has a plan though, with 5, 6, 8 total damage prevention, including his blocks. And all it would take is 1 more card here to full cover this. If he has a defense reaction now, and then Anothos will have to come in to try and clear up the rest of the board. Kenneth probably thinking about whether he wants to keep this Rage Spectre around and just use his Tunic counter to go like, here's my 1 for 6. Oh, we're going to play a Waxing Spectre, pitching a Rage Spectre. So it's going to come in as a 3 ward card. And now let's see what Kenneth decides he's going to do with the other 2 cards left in his hand. Now you can see as well why this matchup is so tough for Guardian. They have to just commit so many resources to try and punch through this ward. And there's only so many turns the deck can do something like this because you are really running a limited number of go-agains. So we have 5. Trying to calculate the ward, I imagine. Okay. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we get to keep 2 ward in play. Full covering this pummeled Zealous Belting. Leaving Pascal with a card in hand, which I imagine, yeah, is just going to be spent on the trusty Anothos for 6. And now Kenneth in that spot where I was talking about, where you can just be like, here are my 2 cards. Or we let this go away. Take some damage, down to 18. Pascal has just managed to throw a 5 card, a 5 card 6. And Kenneth is simply just going to play a Restless Coalescence on Pascal's turn. Thinking about cracking that Calming Gesture, which he is going to decline to do. Calming Gesture, 1 resource as an instant to create a Spectral Shield. Very, very powerful, especially with cards like, what's it called? It gives +3 to, it puts 3+1 counters, Astral Etchings, 3+1 counters on a aura with ward, and if you happen to have a Spectral Shield, you can play it as an instant. It's not quite a pummel, but hey, it'll do the job. But we're attacking for 2. Pascal taking 2 and ready to throw back here with Money Where Your Mouth Is and a Weakest Link. So we're going to wager a gold. We're coming in for 9. Are we wagering though? I mean, if you're Betsy, it's all in the name. It's nominative determinism. Pascal does not look like he's ready to wager though. He does not want to risk his gold. So we're just going to block with a Haze Bending and a Sink Below and a Fate Foreseen, covering the entirety of that damage. We're going to opt that to the bottom. Don't want it. Are we going to sink this last card? Probably for the best you didn't wager there, Pascal. Never take a bet you would lose. Take up Tunic, 1 card in hand, 1 card in arsenal. Are we just going to poke with the kitty cat? 2, no go again. Looks like 2, no go again. Good old Shimmers of Silver. And we have 2 floating. Going to use 1 to crack that Calming Gesture, making a Spectral Shield, and I bet that is an Astral Etchings. Bang. Yeah, pop 3 counters onto that. All of a sudden, that 2 power no go again attack is now a 1 for 5 go again. That's about as good a rate as you can get on a card. Not to mention, prevents at least 2 damage, if not 3, when you make your Spectral Shield off it. And now Kenneth can choose to poke with that Spectral Shield he's made as well for just 1. Pascal, what happened to your massive life lead? You're now at 16. We've fallen behind for the first time this game. Kenneth is using his once per turn instant and Restless Coalescence to make sure he builds up those auras with ward. And here we have yet another go again attack, revealing a bet big and a very shiny card. It is a choke slam. So we have a 7 go again coming in here. You've got to use this to pressure the board state. Make sure that Kenneth just does not have the time or ability to build one up. So we have 3 cards in hand. Kenneth going in the tank now about this one. Who knows what's going to happen here? Obviously, he has the ability to create another Spectral Shield just to soak some damage, which would be a total of 5 just floating prevention on board. And we've already seen all our pummels, I believe, because we saw 2 super early in the game and 1 just last turn. So Kenneth going to create a Spectral Shield using his Restless Coalescence. Is he just going to block 5, take 2, keep 4 cards, see what happens? Yeah, he's just going to use that board state he has built up to prevent some damage. Spectral Shields off to the side, Restless Coalescence to the graveyard. Couple points of damage, life total's even. And now we're going to cut through the facade. Excellent read from Kenneth there. So this card says it can't be defended by auras, and when it hits a hero, you may destroy an aura they control. An extremely powerful new card from Rosetta, featuring some fantastic pirate killing a ghost zombie art and getting everyone excited for a potential new region of Wraith where there are pirates. So let's see what Kenneth decides to do here, because while there are no actual on hits on this card, 7 isn't exactly the smallest number in the world, and it is nearly half his life total now. So let's see what we decide to do and how we decide to do it. Having a big think about this one, how to have a very effective turn regardless of what happens. Yeah, go to 9. Kind of keeping a full 4 card hand. This is potentially very scary if you're Betsy, who at least still does have a full set of fridge left. No damage has been dealt to the armor. And we're going to see the biggest, the baddest, the scariest card in Rosetta in Mistveil Limited. It feels like so long ago. 4 counters when you make it when you pitch a cheat. That means it's ward 4. So it attacks for 4, right? No, it has 4+1 counters on it. So it just swings for 8. Fair, balanced, good game design. No one hates this card. God, I hate this card. Pascal searching, looking for his way out with this phantom dragon swinging in off the top rope, ready to drop the elbow on all the hopes and dreams of our Betsy. What is he going to do? Because the curse of Miragai is once it resolves, if it sticks around, you are in a world of hurt if you cannot clear it. If you can't get this guy off the board, the whole game is now about killing Miragai. And the more cards you give up to block, the less cards you have to threaten her. I think we're really in a spot here for Pascal where you need to take the 8, see if there's any follow up, and hope for the best. Because, goddamn, I hate this Miragai. We're giving up one, two, so four block in armor. I think it would have been a safe enough bet to give up the civics. Oh, I suppose if Pascal doesn't do anything, you're leaving up a go again on their turn. It's going to drop, and Pascal is going to try and use this 5 card hand now to deal with this mirror guy. This beautiful extended art rainbow foil mirror guy, because Kenneth is an illusionist degenerate and must have all his cards all shiny like that. I understand how it is. We're going to pitch a money where your mouth is, and we're going to pitch for a drink 'em under the table. So this is just going to come in for a casual 11. Doesn't look like we're going to wager, because the goal isn't to wager, the goal is to kill this mirror guy. Kenneth looking at his cards, thinking what the best solution to 11 damage is. Not a cheap one either here, coming in for a rough hand of red, 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 blue. And Kenneth is just going to choose to block and use his tunic to send back the mirror guy next turn. Pascal having kind of given everything he could there into the mirror guy. Drawing 4. We're going to really hope for the best here, because if this mirror guy just can't get taken off the board, the game could be over very, very quickly. This is what I was saying earlier, where an illusionist isn't dead until they're in the ground. Dead. Kenneth stabilized in his 20s, life in his 20s, and was able to just choose how much life to lose over the course of the rest of the game. So it looks like we're blocking with those civic steps, the tech plating, and a weakest link, which will be a block of 6, taking 2 points of damage. Kenneth gets himself a quicken, which may or may not be useful next turn. Who knows? Depends on how many cards he keeps. Now let's see if Pascal has enough to threaten this mirror guy, or is this just going to dominate the end game here? Yeah, we're just going to send a big old Spinal Crush. Pitching 2 blues, sending a Spinal for 9, making a Seismic Surge, hoping we make it back to our turn to use that Seismic Surge, because Kenneth can technically just give up 9 block here and send back Mirror Guy. Really hoping here to catch our Enigma opponent, if you're Pascal, on a hand that doesn't really block. This happens very occasionally. So let's see what Pascal can accomplish here with this Spinal Crush. Or is Kenneth going to pivot game plan, block a little bit of this damage, let the Mirror Guy soak 4, and then move on? So we're going to give up a 2 and a Haze Bending. We're going to put in a Waxing Spectre, which is a Ward 3. So we're at currently Ward 5. And in a Fate Foreseen, baby. Cover up that damage. Guess what happens? Stop me if you've seen this one before. Mirror Guy gonna go punching. And I'm pretty sure with Rouse and Zealous Belting, Pascal might be all out of go again unless he has an E-Strike hidden somewhere. Pitching that Sacred Art Lunar Shrine to send in 8 go again. Not that the go again is going to do a whole lot, but hey, it is happening. Oh, and you hate to see it. Pascal blocking 6 here. There's not a lot he can do now except try and survive. And we're just going to throw cut through the facade. Can't be defended by auras. And when it hits a hero, you may destroy an aura they control. Thing is, if it hits a hero, it kills a mirror guy. I imagine the plan here is hope that Kenneth can defend with some amount of auras, but not all of them. But if he can block 7 here, there's a good chance that Tunic could go under the bus. Block 2. Sink below. That's true. Ooh, Kenneth, you cheat. Big cheats. Shimmers can't be used as a block to cut through the facade. It's literally the first line of text. That mirror guy should be dead. And here we have 8 power. Who knew that line of text about can't be defended by auras could become relevant? And now we have a block of 6 on this mirror guy, taking 2 points of damage. And this is the game plan here for Enigma. Just block with 3 cards. And we're just going to send back 7 for Pascal. I wonder, was there an argument to take a little bit more damage that turn and go, here's 5 and 4? Not that it seems like it would have mattered anyway if Kenneth has multiple 3 blocks. But he would not have. Ooh, that could have been an interesting game plan. Block 2, take 2. And now Command and Conquer for 6. And that looks like it's going to be GG. Has Pascal got anything here? We've got to cut through the facade, block, take 2 more points of damage down to 3. Another quicken for Kenneth. And a good old-fashioned hammer for 4. Kenneth looking at his hand. Yeah, come on. Stop messing around. We knew you were blocking 6. There's no way you weren't blocking 6 there. Covering the hammer. And now we can attack for 8 at least. Yeah, here we have 8 go again. 1 card in hand, 2 floating. And now it's Kenneth that gets to do the Guardian thing of like, here's my 2 floating. Yeah, Pascal going to 1. 2 cards left in hand. Is there anything he can really do here? We're just going to move to Arsenal. Keep those 2 cards. Kenneth draw up. It's the last chance Pascal is going to have a 2 card hand. We're going to send E-Strike for 7 again. And we're going to unmovable that, keeping a 3 card hand. This is an unfortunate end to Pascal's run. Pitching a Dissolve Reality, attacking for 8 go again. Pascal has to give 3 cards. And here's a Command and Conquer for lethal. And that's the game, baby. And as can be kind of expected, but maybe not in the most conventional way, Enigma is going to move on to the semi-finals, taking on a valiant effort on Pascal's base. Betsy really did look like she was running at peak value. Now, that may be peak performance in a way you never expected to see it before. Really well done, Pascal. My commiserations on making it this far and getting taken out in top 8. I know that feeling all too well. It has been happening in my pro quests with a top 8 and a top 4. And congratulations, Kenneth. Moving on to the next round. But you've got to be careful. There's a couple of very powerful heroes in the top 8, and those matchups aren't going to be the world's friendliest for Enigma. So, congratulations, Kenneth, again, and good luck in the top 4. As for myself, I have been Ian. I have been the voice of the league that means nothing to for the most part, and it's been such a pleasure to be here. Please make sure you like, you subscribe, you comment, you tell us how great the league is, and you get ready for a bigger, better, and even less important League That Means Nothing Season 3 coming soon. You can find me on Twitter, talking fab, talking gym, having a good time at finals_spirit, and I will see you in the next one.